Today I'm at a Civil War reenactment in Vista, California, and I walked by the tent and saw a sign that drew me in because I didn't even understand what the sign said. It was called Two Flags Sutlery, and I thought, what the heck is a sutlery? So I walked in the store and I found Lewis, and he's one of the owners of the store. His dad started it about 12 years ago, right? And he's been doing this for about 4 years, and I just was running through the store looking at all this interesting stuff, and he's going to tell you about some of the things that they sell, the things that they're displaying this weekend at this Civil War reenactment. First of all, he's going to tell you what sutlery is.
Sutlery was basically, back then, a store like mine would follow north and southern units, and they would outfit the soldiers of anything that they didn't have. If they had extra pocket money, they would come in, and little things that they needed, they would be able to buy from these guys.
One of the things that they would buy would be an outfit if they didn't have one, or if it got blown apart, yeah, or something like that. I'm dressed in the Union outfit, and he said a couple of interesting things about the Union outfit is they had more money, so they had the nicer outfits, and if they were wealthy, they could afford a nice lining. They have really nice material here where everything is museum quality, which is really neat. And on the Confederate side, if the wife had some fabric, she would quickly sew up something for her husband to wear, and that's why you saw so many different colors of uniform, right? Okay, so tell us, I thought this was a really good example of the difference in budget between Civil War, or between the Union guys and the Confederate guys. This would be maybe something that the Union soldiers would be given, right? Tell us what it is.
This is a tarred haversack. Normally this would be on a soldier, and they would carry their personal belongings, stationery to ride home, playing cards, or any other little thing that they needed that they, wanted access to while they were marching.
It's like a soldier's purse.
Yeah.
Now this I thought was interesting. On the Confederate side, they didn't get the really nice leather and the buckles. Tell us what this is.
This is what's called a carpet bag, and this was basically material that they would have in their home, and their wives would sew these together. That's why they had wood buttons versus metal straps on these. It was a little bit, I guess, not as flashy as what a Union soldier would wear.
And I would imagine circumstance really required. The reason they were getting like upholstery carpet bag is they were probably ripping up furniture just to get fabric that would be sturdy enough, right? Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. I walked by this and I said, what in the world is this? Tell us what this is.
This is what a Scottish unit would wear. It's called a Glengarry. I don't really know too much about the Scottish units, but it comes in two different colors, the black and white, and then there's also a red and white checkered stripe on the side of it. But there were Scottish units back there.
Didn't know that. And I saw this little gem and asked him, what is this for?
This was a gaiter. They come in either this tar or canvas, and it would fit over your shoe and your boot, so that when you're on the march, it kept water, dirt, mud, all that kind of stuff out of your socks and shoes.
Now, would the canvas be more Confederate, and if you were in Union, you'd get a nice little one?
It kind of just varied back then. Mainly Confederate wouldn't wear these. These were basically a Union type of issue.
Oh, Confederate didn't even have them?
No, nope.
Oh,
nope, not at all.
Poor guys. These poor Confederate guys. Okay, this is the Confederate color. I'm wearing Union because I actually have ancestors on my husband's side that fought on the Union side. In fact, one of them died in Georgia in Confederate territory. I lived in Georgia for 15 years and loved it. But anyway, this would be the Confederate uniform.
Normally, you'd have either, this one has CSA buttons for Confederate states. Sometimes you would have your state's buttons on here. If you were artillery, you would have, the button would just have a big A on it for artillery, or infantry would just have a big I.
Really?
So it kind of just depended on how you would want to outfit your first service.
That's pretty good detail.
Yeah. On the back, you either got it in this brown, or this is what's called white muslin material. It was a lot cooler in the summertime than the wool, so it kind of gave you both sides of the spectrum.
I would think it'd be cooler to wear wear than this. This is really heavy and kind of itchy scratchy.
Yeah. And normally Confederates, if they were lucky, they would have a jacket like yours. Mainly they would have a vest or just even a shirt like I'm wearing.
If they were lucky.
Yeah, so they were definitely way cooler on the battlefield with just less material that they wore or had access to.
On the flip side, they had less protection as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And here's the lovely hat. One of the many hats. He's shown me quite a number of different hats that they would have been able to choose from.
This is called a Kepi style hat. This is in it's called a Richmond Depot gray. They would come in different. Confederate side had 10 different variances of gray, so none of their uniforms usually match at all. So you either got a gray, kind of like the hat that I have, or you got something a little bit darker. It just depended on really what your family had.
When I think of Civil War, this is the type of hat look that I think of, not this.
Yeah, these were standard issue. A forge cap, which is a little bit taller, would be something that the soldier would have to buy out of their own pocket. So.
Okay, and then we've got the old handy dandy canteen. This is a really nice one. I'm telling you, this store has some really nicely constructed stuff. It's $45 for this canteen. Tell us what makes this so special.
These ones, the only difference between these and what a real canteen would have, these ones are stainless steel. Just for the reenactors, they don't like drinking their stuff out of their canteen. So other than that, the canteen cover would obviously be Union. Confederates would have either a butternut, gray. They would even have sometimes this material, something like this on that. And it came with either a canvas or a leather strap, just depending on what you really like. So.
Okay. And then I grabbed a couple of those leather thingies down there. Tell us about those.
These guys here, these are actually leather suspenders, like kind of what I have on. Mine are canvas, these are leather, and they came in different sizes. This is 1 inch, and they make them as big as 2 inch suspenders. So it just kind of depended. This would normally be a Confederate suspenders. They liked stuff that was browns, colors. Union guys would normally wear lighter stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
And then this guy here is what you would, this is a cylinder box. This would be worn on your belt, and you would have extra cylinders for your pistol in here. So when you're on the field, if you ran out, you only get 6 shots in a pistol. This way you can take out extra cylinders, load your gun, and that way you just have ammo without wandering around with no ammo in your gun. So this was very useful tool when they were out there on the field.
Excellent. Well, he's got a whole store full of more stuff, but he's got to go back to work. So I'm going to thank him for telling us about some of these items. So interesting. If you ever get a chance to go to a Civil War reenactment, be sure and check out all of the stores. It's a tons and tons set up. We haven't even started. Like I said, this is the first place I stopped today, and there's so much more to see and do. So if you get a chance in your area, check one out. I did a Google search and found Gold Coast, now I'm drawing a blank, goldcoastfestivals.com brought me to this Civil War, but just do Civil War reenactment on a Google search and you'll find one in your area. Happy heritage hunting!